Everything is struggling to become manifest out of the unmanifest world. The dark energy wishes to remain here, but it is destined to go unmanifest again. The enlightened will go unmisunderstood and often at the brunt end of the scheming of the other side. He will face a lot of irrationality and unpredictability and violations to his boundaries. But because he knows that these are attempts to get him to come down from the proverbial mountain and are attempts by the darkness to infect him, he will parry away all attacks. He will not take things personally. He will simply continue to uphold goodness. And eventually his attackers will be imbued with guilt and sadness, for to attack another is to attack oneself. To cultivate the inner world is also to cultivate the external one. One of the sneakier attempts by the other side will be to test if the enlightened can take on his role with grace. So the enlightened will be asked if he thinks he is better than other people. It is simply a question of not attaching oneself to pride and to not see others as lesser, and the test will be passed. One must cling to truth, reason, and stability as the other side throws deception and confusion at them. The other side will be hot or cold, loving and hating. The enlightened will remain neutral. This does not mean that the enlightened never becomes angry. They do, just not from a place of meanness. But they are quick to let go of their anger when their emotion has served its purpose. The unaware seeks out the creation, hoping it will lead him to his soul and the Creator, and is therefore unfulfilled. The enlightened can appreciate such things, but does not seek to validate his existence, because it is already immaculate. The enlightened listens to his soul in his decision making. The unaware listens to authority and faulty thinking patterns and flywheels in their minds which run them. The unaware looks at the superficiality of behavior and assigns meaning to it. The enlightened can glean more deeply and understands beyond it lies emotions, and beyond that lies energy, and beyond that lies the soul. The enlightened has made peace with the limitations of the human form. The unaware seeks to reinvent the wheel, and has deep longing and passion and hunger, and is never content. The enlightened does not wish to waste time and procrastinate, and chooses to follow his bliss and that of others, whereas the unaware worker has a split between work and joy and puts off work for instant egoic gratification. The enlightened is not afraid of professing his love or sadness, while the unaware tends to shame for it. The enlightened is also not afraid of his sexuality, while the unaware seeks to restrain it or overindulge in it. The enlightened keeps in mind what is the best thing he do right now and seeks it out. He has a genuine desire to improve his capability. The unaware simply wishes for pleasant emotions and to escape painful ones. The enlightened has made peace with both extremes of emotion. If he writes, his words are not superfluous because he understands the importance of distilling the message into potency. He understands not to gift a gift that is partially good, because a partial resolution will have a partial result. If he will not eat something, he will not give it to the other. He does not utter things he believes to be false, unless he is absolutely required to safeguard himself and others. When he gets angry, the whole world gets angry with him. He gives himself entirely to the world, and because of this he is given the world. The unaware waits for the moment to be themselves, often only allowing themselves that in sleep. Chaos energy within can manifest in many ways. It can be destructive anger, low self-esteem, neediness, numbness. They are all sneaky ways to disconnect you from presence and God and flow. Their existence is maintained by the beliefs and ego. Once these energies within the individual are threatened, they tend to amplify such that they protect themselves and are left alone by the individual. We don't transcend them as quickly as we can because we tend to back off as they intensify, and we tend to repress them. We tend to actively avoid feeling them. But it is only through conscious awareness that one may begin to shed and digest them. The dark energies in others will try to speak to the ones in you if you are not aware of this dynamic and fear the consequent emotion. You will be misled. You will lose your enlightenment or you will move further away from it. It is all light play, a game of illusions and buy-ins. In any given day, one has an accumulation of good energy and bad energy in them. By the law of homeostasis, the darkness and the goodness will try to have the same output as the day before. If you shed more darkness than it likes, you will be attacked by it and it will try to get you to self-sabotage and to act out of character just so that you back off. As you begin to progress, the workload actually increases, but so does your enjoyment. The hero must continue to prove himself over and over again, to slay more and more dragons. Charging stations for the good energy are things like good food, sleep, meditation, education, exercise, sobriety. Building good relationships at one's place of work. Now that I am on this topic, I wish to describe the nature of conflict and disagreement. Chaos energy in you will lie to you and say to disagree is wrong. This is not the case, for how else does one re-examine faulty thinking? Most people do not converse well. They attack you rather than argue their point. The aim is to do so with decorum. Hear the person out, state what you think is right, and continue making good energy. Then the discussion is harmonious overall, even though the other party may try to attack you. As you begin to accrue good energy, you will also have dark energies attempt to get you to fall. Strange thoughts and emotions may enter your mind and body field. A method one may wish to use when one feels fatigued with emitting good energy, especially in the face of meanness, is to just create a single drop of goodness in face of conflict. That will give you confidence and illuminate the way. So after your boss dazes and stuns you by his comments, respond by giving him good energy. This is not merely for him, but it is for you because your vision will expand again out of the constriction. Other examples of light and dark dynamics is the idea of being fake nice, which is just authority seeking. When you notice energies, you can read into people's souls and see beyond the surface. Another happens with dating, where a girl may be mean because she senses weakness in you. The meanness and smugness in her sees the needy energy in you, and the dance continues. The dark can only speak to the dark. It is also necessary to discuss the idea of right growth. People should not evolve faster than is natural because in order to receive light one has to expel the gloom. If you were to be given the reward when you are not ready, you would grow leaves without roots. There would be a direct thread for the darkness to spread from this new position now, infecting others. Therefore it is necessary to evolve gradually, not by the use of drugs or some other process. Another way chaos breeds outside our awareness is the idea of pointless activity and pointless conversations. People want to talk about nothing constructive. It is the energy of chaos and confusion, and they wish to just hypnotize themselves and others. They want you to indulge them in their stupidity and superficiality. As you progress, you will be attacked more and more, and the other side will try to get you to shun the message and your knowledge. Madness happens when there is sudden growth, as a side note. The person gleams a lot of insight but hasn't conquered his inner darkness. Now let's talk about the unknowns. As stated by the Buddha, the message may not necessarily be communicated. Most people won't like you and won't know why. You will spend a lot of time justifying yourself and might become disheartened by seeing others get praised, while most of what you get is criticism. But the truth is, this criticism is what you need. You need concreteness and reality and pain endurance. You do not need praise. You will continue to be tested to see if you can remain true and grounded in good values. You will not budge or bend or seek compromise. If you can handle it without excessive emotion and with decorum. Eventually your society accepts your insights and your disillusionment from it and your awakening. The journey into the bower of bliss leads to a purification of past sin along with the awakening of the hero carrying useful bounty to his community, which will cause disharmony at first but eventual acceptance by the people. That is the blueprint. Being willing to undergo pain and hardship is the metric which will set you apart. Being willing to stand up straight and take on the full weight of what it means to be alive. That is the journey of awakening. There is also a question of cultivating the ability of appropriate response and measure, responding appropriately and to the right degree, to whatever one may face. When you enlighten, the journey follows. The journey that follows is one of depth. It is like growing roots you don't need anymore. Leaves. But the bliss you will taste will be the highest.